everyone, this is my second installment of Best Gaming Build PC, and what I'm actually going to be doing, this is going to be a lower end system price wise, but it should still perform with most current indie games out there, even on high resolution monitors. So let's jump in and see what we got. So for today, the price range I'm going to focus on is $600. Previously, my last system, I'll throw a link up if you want to view that, but it was the $1,000 range. And what I'm going to focus on now is the cheaper end. And then from there, I'm going to jump into maybe a more extreme $1,500, $1,600 end, and then I'm going to do an ultimate extreme where I'm going to jump into the 2011 Intel socket. So let's actually jump in and get into this $600 gaming PC. This should be able to perform everything perfectly. I mean, it's going to have some excellent components in it. Most of these components I've actually used or actually had my hands on. Some of them I actually currently use right now, and I've had no issues with them. And I'll kind of go into maybe some different aspects, some other areas you might be able to go into if you want a different graphics card or if you want to go a little different avenue. And this is going to be for the Intel side. I am going to work on an AMD budget gaming build, but this is going to be for the Intel chipset. So let's jump in. And for the case, I actually chose the Cooler Master Elite 432. It's an excellent case, and it's at about $30 right now. I found it actually on a few websites for $30, and for that price, you can't beat that. It's an excellent case, has an ample amount of fans that you can do some excellent cooling with, air-wise, or you can do some liquid cooling if you want to upgrade things. But it's an excellent case, especially for that $30 price range. So for the motherboard, you're going to probably freak out when I tell you the price, but there's kind of a catch here. The motherboard, I chose the Asus P8Z77-V ATX motherboard. It gets excellent reviews, and the price was $130, but this is actually bundled with 8 GB of memory. So there's no point in actually having to add memory on your price point. For the amount of good reviews this motherboard had, I really couldn't pass it up. It's a little more than I would have liked to spend on a motherboard, but it has a little bit of flexibility in the future if you want to run dual cards. So that's that. So that covers our motherboard and our RAM right there for that $130. And for the CPU, this is something where this isn't going to affect gaming that much. I don't think the CPU, I mean, very rarely, maybe a frame per second here or there, but I went with the Intel i3-2120 processor, and it's going about for $110 right now. I actually found this on several places that were running at $110 price point, so there's no issue getting it at that price. It's an excellent. I have this in my server build. It runs cool. It's an excellent processor. Even with just not having the 4 cores, it's still hands down perfect for gaming. You'll be able to do anything on it. You'll be able to do some video and photo editing. It's just not going to be as speedy as a quad-core processor. For the power supply, I'm going with the trusty Corsair TX 650 80 Plus Bronze, and this is going at about $55. It's Corsair. You can't say much about that. It has that $55 price point for 650 watts. I mean, that's going to be able to last you for at least 2 cards. If you want to run Crossfire SLI, you have no problem with that card. Excellent value there. For the GPU, I'm going to give you 2 options. The second option is cost about $20-25 more. But for the option I would personally choose, I chose the MSI 7770 GHz edition, and it's $108 right now. About $108, $110. I found it for $108, but there's other websites that have it for $110. That's excellent for the price. And if you're an NVIDIA fan, the 650 is actually running at, I believe, 125, 130. You can get it around there, and it's an excellent card also if you want to jump in and go that route. The 7770s are an excellent card right now for their price point. They're really dropping significantly in price. If you're not a big fan of the MSI, there were some other ones that were about $10-15 more. Asus, XFX, HIS. There were some other ones up there, or HIS, however you want to pronounce it. And we already got a RAM that came with our motherboard, so we got 8 GB there. Perfect for gaming, perfect for other tasks. Easy thing there. The problem with a build like this, I couldn't fit an SSD in the budget if you want to throw $60 more at this and bump the $600 up to maybe $640, $650, you can get a 60 gigabyte SSD, no problem. For $70, $75, you can get a 120 gigabyte SSD, and there's many varieties of that if you want to bump this up just to get a little faster boot time with your OS. But for the hard drive, I chose the Western Digital Caviar Blue, 1 terabyte, $70. Like I said, hard drive prices have dropped a little bit. 6 months ago, this probably would have been a $150 hard drive, but prices have started to come down a little bit now, so that's going to give us some leeway there. I would still, if I was buying the system personally, I would probably try to find a cheap SSD just to make my life a little easier and a little quicker. But with that $600 price point, you gotta cut corners somewhere. And Windows 7 Home's on sale right now for $80. Everyone needs that. I put Windows 7 in all my system builds. Some people don't like that, but most people that are building new machines going to need Windows 7. And for the DVD and CD, I'm going to stick with the trusty LG DVD CD writer player. It works perfect. I've been running it in my system for a year now. I have it in another system right now. For $15, you can't beat it. Haven't had any issues. And for the cooler, I didn't do this in my $1,000 price point, but I'm going to start sticking a cooler in my builds from now on, just because most people aren't going to run with the stock cooler. And I'm going to go with the Corsair A50 cooler, and there's two places right now where you can get it for free. It's regular $20, but they have a $20 mail-in rebate, so actually you're getting it for nothing. The deal, I believe it lasts for a couple more days, but if you just search for it, you can find it. It's not too hard to find, but that's going to be an excellent cooler for free. Like I said, the i3 2120 isn't really going to produce as much heat as maybe like a 2500K or 2600K, a more beefy processor. So the grand total for this was $598. Like I said, if you want to spend that extra $50, $60, well, 40 to 60, throw in an SSD, 60 gigabytes, or even 120. I'd probably recommend the 120, especially if you're going to maybe... I have some games that I like to play just for 15, 20, 30 minutes at a time where you can just load them up real quick. They load and you can just play them for 15 minutes and shut it down. No problem. I would probably go that route and spend that extra little bit, but if you're not worried about that and you have the time, go ahead and get that for that $600 price point. Can't really beat the products here. Like I said, there's some great deals on these. There's many other. You could go with a different motherboard, maybe if you wanted a H61 or a Z68 chipset, but this has the Z77, which is the current chipset. So it allows you a little more future-proof there to add a little more things. And like I said, the power supply, I don't like skimping there. That's why we got one with the Corsair 650 watt power supply. That allows us to add more cards. It allows us to add more hard drives, SSDs, whatever we need there. If we want to add a media reader, media card reader, or anything like that, we're good to go. So that's been my conclusion on a $600 Intel build. Like I said, I'm going to do an AMD build at some point. And the thing that I'm going to do with the AMD build is probably get the price point down significantly more. AMD, their processors are just so much cheaper than Intel's, mainly because they don't perform as well. But in gaming, that's not really a huge issue. So if you like this or have any recommendations, please leave some comments below. So if people watch this, they can do some investigation on what they might want to put in their system. If you'd like to see more unboxings, reviews, tech news, any other broadcasts like this, don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.